Today we will start with the priority scheduling. So let us first understand what actually is the concept behind priority scheduling. Now, in this priority scheduling, what happens is that each process is given a priority. Priority here means what? An integer number is assigned to it. And what is the logic here? Suppose if a priority of 1 is given, so the lowest number will have the highest priority and the larger number will have the lowest priority. So as I have just mentioned you, smallest integer is considered as highest priority and largest integer is considered as lowest priority. Then what happens is that whatever process is having the highest priority, then it is given the CPU time first, and then the next highest priority process will be given the CPU time, and so on. Means say suppose first the process having the priority of 1 will be given a first CPU. Then suppose a process is having the priority of second, it will be given the CPU next, and likewise. What will happen in case of equal priority process? Then in that case, they will be scheduled in first come first served order. Means if two processes are having the priority of 2, so in whichever way they have arrived in the system, so they will be given the priority of using the CPU. Then shortage of first is also a special case of general priority algorithm, because why? The priority is based on the smallest job getting the first executed. So shortage of first algorithm is also a kind of a special kind of priority algorithm. And this priority scheduling can be preemptive or non-preemptive. You know that round robin we have already discussed what is preemptive approach, right? And non-preemptive we have discussed in the first come first served, isn't it? So the problem statement you have to carefully observe whether they are asking for preemptive or non-preemptive. If the word is not mentioned there, then you have the liberty to solve it preemptive or non-preemptive. Now I will try to explain this concept in one more real-time example. Now what I am saying is that priority is a integer number. So whichever process has the lowest number will have the highest priority, right? Means say suppose I am stuck in a traffic and everywhere roads are blocked, and the same time ambulance comes, then you people know that the ambulance will be given a higher priority to pass the road. Even though maybe it is my chance to cross the road, still the ambulance will get a higher priority to cross the particular road. So similarly, here the processes will be executed on the basis of their priority number. Priority is what? It is nothing but a integer value, and smallest integer is considered as the highest priority. So to understand this concept completely, now let us take one example for this. Consider this particular example. Now here burst time is there, means how much time the CPU will be executing that process. Then here see one column is there, priority. Now let us see in which sequence this particular processes will be executed. Currently if you just overlook on this particular problem, you will easily notice that P4 is having the priority of 1. So means what? This is the lowest number. So first process that will be executed will be the P4 process. Why? Because it is having the lowest integer number. hence it will have the highest priority to execute. After that, next priority is second. So after P4, next job that will execute will be the P3 process. After that, P5 is having the third priority, so it will be executed third. Then fourth means P4 will be executed, and afterwards this P2 will be executed lastly. And on what basis I have written this? On the basis of the priority assigned to them. Now let us draw the Gantt chart for this. Now first, as I have told you, first P4 will be executed. Now here, since nothing is mentioned, I will consider this as non-preemptive. This P4 is supposed to execute for 4. So the first block will be from 0 to 4 millisecond. Afterwards, next process that is to be executed is P3. P3 is to be executed for 5 millisecond. So it will end at 9. After P3, next process that will be executed is P5. So that is how much? 3 millisecond. After P5, fourth process to be executed is P1. So this is for 12 millisecond. So it will end at 24 millisecond. Then last process that will be executed will be P2. So that will be for 10 millisecond. So this entire process will end at 34 millisecond. Observe this particular problem statement. Here they have asked only the average waiting time. So let us now try to calculate the waiting time for each process. Now you observe P4. See here arrival time is not mentioned. Means in this case we have to assume that all the processes arrived at the same time. But what is the basis of their execution? Basis is their priority. So P4, it just got the CPU at 0 millisecond. So waiting time for P4 will be 0. What about P1? It got the CPU at 12 millisecond. Hence waiting time for P1 is 12. What about P2? It started executing at 24. So waiting time is 24. What about P3? It started execution at 4 millisecond. So it will be 4. Then next P4, it started at 0. So waiting time is 0. Then last P5, it started at 9. So its waiting time is 9. It is similar to our calculation of waiting time based on when they got the CPU, and on the basis of these values we will calculate the average waiting time. So it will be nothing but 12 plus 24 plus 4 plus 0 plus 9, and it comes out to be 49 divided by 5 is equals to 9.8 millisecond. So this is how the priority scheduling algorithm non-preemptive approach works. Okay. So what is the basis of the execution? It is executed on the basis of what priority each process has, and the lowest number means it will have the highest priority of execution, and highest number means it will be executed last. So first process that will be executed is P4, and the last process that will be executed is the P2. So this is how priority scheduling algorithm works.